So this poem is titled Grief is a Rotten Orange. Shout out to Irshad Poetry for this beautiful prompt. Not my original. This was written exactly 2 years ago on National Poetry Writing Month. So yeah, it's a good throwback. Grief is a rotten orange. Grief is a rotten orange. Still as bright as a healthy one, repulsive only when you press onto it, only when you allow your palms to feel the pulp gone bad. It is the sensory equivalent of a nervous gulp, still as scary, but now more private. The realization of its staleness remains confined to the edges of your fingers. This grief is clearly going to sting, but you peel it anyway, in the hope that not all of it has rotten yet, the hope that some tiny fragment could still be cherished, the hope that your touch could make a little portion of it edible. But all you're left with, when the thick peel is gone, is an odor so sharp it reminds you of your first scraped knee. Reminds you that you should have smelt it coming. Reminds you that every bright-looking orange is not safe to consume. Grief is a rotten orange. It was once healthy, sweet, lush. It was once something worth being devoured. It was the friend you could spend all your nights with. It was a friend you still couldn't protect. The friend who died from inside, right there within the same four walls as you. The friend who's gone too far away now to bring back to life and love. The friend whose illness became too much to deal with. A friend you'd rather leave behind than help. A friend you refuse to care for anymore. But they're still your friend. So you go to the kitchen and peel open the door and find them lying on the floor with the stove still on and the plates neatly laid out. Grief is the friend you cannot save anymore. Grief is sitting in that same kitchen and looking through the window at the view of the banyan tree, the view of nature's eternity, an eternity that happiness cannot afford. So you look at the tree and mourn the ephemerality of human life, human joy, human touch. You mourn the humanity of life. The banyan tree is suddenly laden with oranges. You look at them and wonder if they're actually rotten from within. You want to reach out and feel them for stones of guilt in place of seeds, but you know that grief will always give birth to grief. And you know that those oranges will always have those same tiny seeds that threaten to reproduce grief for ages to come, but you're glad you cannot reach them. They cannot reach you, and you hope the next orange you pick up doesn't taste of betrayal. But you know that the trees of grief have their roots under every house, and the saplings can spring up anywhere. But you look at the healthy fruits in the kitchen, and the oranges outside the window look a little less scary. Grief is a dream sequence gone wrong, a fresh breeze turned foul, a lover sitting beside you vanished in thin air. A lover you were supposed to die beside, a lover whose pain didn't allow them to wait for one more year, one more month, one more day, a lover whose handhold felt so tight you never thought you could lose that certainty. And suddenly you're as weak as a broken power nap, a dwindling vow, a dying bird. Grief is a recurring nightmare that scares you so bad you forget how to sleep. Grief is a room whose view has been blocked, windows covered in metal sheets, a room of gold that shines but becomes volcanic the moment you want to look out, the moment you want to breathe air that is alive, the moment you want to dream but can't because there are layers and layers of tears and howls threatening to give you a life more painful than death. Because the golden room is filled with rotten oranges that look so beautiful from outside, one rotten orange could have deceived you. But there are so many of them, the stench can reach into a dead person's grave and remind them of the time they were handed a knife and a rotten orange, and they couldn't decide which one would hurt more. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for this amazing poem. But I'm craving oranges now. The next